ACW is sponsored by Jabati. Self-care through skincare. Jabati is for everybody. Greetings and welcome to ACW Podcast. I am Robin Gabriel-Parson, your host, and our co-host today is Dawn Wells with DWF Fitness. Now, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, December, and everyone is focusing on the holidays, but at the same time, there's a lot of people dealing with depression during the month of December and really throughout the holiday season. Now, Dawn Wells, our special co-host, is going to share her story with the challenges and the battles she has been facing with mental health. Now, her battle is not necessarily a stigma that we are familiar with when it comes to mental health. Her battle focuses on eating disorder. A lot of us may think, or may question, is eating disorder a mental health challenge? But it is. There's many different mental health challenges. But today, our special guest is going to tell her story, how she had been battling and challenging her mental health challenge, which is eating disorder. So stay tuned. We honor and thank everyone in the fight for social justice. Teachers, healthcare workers, and all of you in high-risk jobs. We know it's stressful, so we have a gift of thanks from us to you. For more information, visit jaboti.com. That's JABOTIBODY.com. You're listening to ACW Podcast. I am Robin Gabriel-Parson, your host. Our co-host today is Dawn Wells with DWF Fitness. Good morning, Dawn. Good morning. How are you today? So happy to have you here on the ACW Podcast this morning. Welcome for joining our Awareness, Culture, and Wellness Podcast discussion. Dawn, before we go into our discussion today, which we'll be talking about mental health, I want you to share with our audience more information about yourself, your journey, how you're advocating for your fitness causes, and even as a wellness professional.
Well, good morning, Robin. Thank you so much for having me on. It is an honor to be here. I'm so excited about being on the show today and especially talking about mental health, because this is definitely a very important topic and one that's close, near and dear to me. So I'll start with telling you a little bit about me at high level. I am a certified fitness and nutrition. I call myself a certified fitness and nutrition strategist. And I say that because I believe in taking mental, physical, nutrition, accountability, and support, and blending it all together into programs in order to achieve overall wellness. And I also believe it is definitely not something one can do as successfully by themselves. It takes a collective effort. And that's a little bit about me. I'm the owner of what was used to be Dawn Wells Fitness, now officially branded as of Tuesday, or excuse me, as of Monday. We are officially now DWF Wellness. That is a little bit about me.
Awesome, Dawn. Dawn, you have a very special story, and I just have to share with our listeners. Dawn and I have worked together for many, many years with Fulton County government, helping really to inspire employees, corporate wellness. So, Dawn, you have done so much in the community, and I love a lot of your work, especially working with the blind. That's a whole nother conversation I would love to have with you. Your advocacy for the blind within the community when it comes to health and wellness as well. Now, Dawn, today we're talking about mental health awareness, and December is Mental Health Awareness Month. And the reason why we chose December, because it's the time where you have so many people are getting prepared for the holidays. And then at the same time, you have a very joyful time, but at the same time, a lot of people are dealing with sorrow. Uh, and perfect example, COVID-19, this whole COVID-19 environment. So many people have lost loved ones and individuals, and you often wonder, I know I do, how are they going to deal with loss during a holiday season when family is so important. So this all plays into our mental health month, helping people get through the holidays without being depressed or dealing with anxiety or just feeling lonely. And your story is unique. It is centers around the holidays because, around the holidays, we love to eat. There's a lot of family gatherings, a lot of food. So we're going to talk about mental health on a different level here today. And it's speaking when it comes to eating disorders. So this is something I'm looking forward to you sharing with us today, Dawn.
So it's ironic that you say that because yes, having an I suffer from bulimia. I was officially diagnosed with bulimia almost 3 years ago now, and actually went through therapy and continued therapy for the bulimia. It is a lifelong battle, as with any sort of disorder or even an addiction. And the thing of the misconception about eating disorders, and especially bulimia, is that it's associated with not being able to like be around food and control yourself, and it's nothing like that. That's not it. I can be around any kind of food. That's not the issue. It's about having an unhealthy relationship with dealing with your emotions and then utilizing food as a means of not even comfort, but comfort and relief. And with bulimia, more so, it is chemically induced as well, and so it does require medication initially, and again the therapy. And so it's not just like being around food that you lose control. That's not how it works. It's, again, more so dealing with your relationship with food when it comes to dealing with triggers and stressors and things like that. And it's usually induced by trauma. That's how one develops an eating disorder. So that is something that I do suffer from and have been dealing with. But I am much better and do because of therapy. And I'm telling you, that is something that I highly recommend for everyone, and especially now with COVID, and people being so isolated and away, and not even just that. Now we're starting to be able to come back out of that box again, but we're still not able to touch one another, and we're human beings. So that's how we are emotional, physical people and beings. And so people are starting to understand that while, yeah, they're getting out, they still are suffering, have like post-traumatic stress disorder from the result of being sheltered in. And that's a real, guys, understand this. It is real. Those emotions that you're experiencing are very real, and it is nothing wrong with saying that and seeking assistance with that.
We honor and thank everyone in the fight for social justice. Teachers, healthcare workers, and all of you in high-risk jobs. We know it's stressful, so we have a gift of thanks from us to you. For more information, visit jabodibody.com. That is JABODIBODY.com. You're listening to ACW Podcast. I am Robin Gabriel-Parson, your host. Our co-host today is Dawn Wells with DWF Fitness.
Dawn, that is so important. Thank you for adding that. Now, Dawn, I really appreciate you being transparent today and willing to share your story with the audience. Something you just said earlier in reference to trauma, dealing with something that you might have dealt with within your childhood or within your life that may have triggered these emotions. So are you open to share some of your trauma or not even, I don't want you to go into detail, but where it came from and how many years you've been dealing with and where you are today?
Well, there are a number of things that occurred from childhood, things that occurred with me, as well as things that happened to me in the military. Some I'm not at liberty to share, and some of it was sexual assault. And so that's that's pretty much where I would like to leave it if possible. But you're right. It is something that it could stem from being something that happened to you in your childhood that you have not actually dealt with. And mine initially, that was one of the issues that caused me to have the to go into first PTSD and then into being binging and purging. And I've been actually dealing with this. I didn't realize it because when you think bulimia, you think somebody being skinny or malnourished, right? I never associated my binging and purging. First of all, I never even realized that's what it was that I would be doing. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't associate it with it being an issue for 25 years because it was just something that I did, right? And I wasn't skinny. So I thought that was what constituted it. But as I got knowledge and went through to the psychiatrist and then on to therapists, I came to understand that it's not about the size that you are, it's the behavior. And that's the behavior was definitely a bulimic behavior, the binging and the purging, and even the choices of binging and purging. So yes.
Wow, thank you, thank you. Now, Dawn, what I find very interesting, and our show today, our podcast is about mental health. So this is all a mind challenge, even with people who are considered obese. A lot of times it's a mental challenge they are going through, which triggers the behavior, like you said. So what I would like our audience to understand, or listeners to understand, and a lot of times it could be cultural, we do need to seek other help in order for us to overcome whatever that is that are triggering these behaviors, which challenge our mental, physical, and our spiritual being. And what I would like for you to share with our audience is to explain your experience with a therapist or with a psychiatrist and getting people to understand it's okay. You do need to talk to other people who are trained in the field to help you get beyond this behavior.
Absolutely. And you also said something like mentioning the physical, and how that relates to your mental health as well, and overcoming or actually being able to cope with the disorder that you may have. And so in therapy, people think that you're going to go and the therapist is going to judge you or tell you how you were wrong about what you did or your feelings are not right. That's not what therapy is about at all. It is about them first helping you to identify what what actually caused you, where did this issue stem from, which, like I mentioned from early on, it was being sexually molested as a child, and then things that occurred to me later on in my adulthood. But then you go and you figure out what actually triggers it now. So first is identifying how what caused, where it stemmed from. then identifying what triggers it, because that's a whole separate thing. And triggers are things that how you kind of disassociate, or something that somebody might do to you that causes you to go from 0 to 1,000 and you don't understand why, or something that causes you to actually go into a binge. Those are triggers, or whatever your disorder might be. And so they help you to then identify those things, and then they actually give you the tools. It's not about judgment. It's about the giving you the actual tools that you use in order to be able um, to overcome the trigger that you might be experiencing, or if nothing else, when you identify it, being able to talk yourself through it. And that is something that a mental health professional really needs to help you do. And now there are some, especially around eating disorders, that you don't necessarily have to, see a psychiatrist, like with stress eating. There are actual tools that you can utilize that that you can actually help yourself get through these things. But for some of the more serious eating disorders like bulimia and anorexia, they do require medication. And then for all of them, you definitely want to be doing something physical, because, as you know, Robin, from being a a fitness professional and a nutritionist, your mental capacity, your mental state is directly impacted by your physical activity. Those endorphins get up, your serotonin levels, which is that chemical that makes you feel good, or makes you tells your brain that you're happy and you're feeling good. Those are triggered when you exercise. And so that is so imperative on top of that. But, and I know you didn't ask me about that, but it was so important that you said that. And then also foods that we eat are associated with that. So you hit the nail on the head. But with therapy, it is very much a collaborative effort in helping you to, again, understand your disorder and then being able to cope with it, giving you physical tools that you can utilize. And for me, I took the tools like meditation and applied spiritual components to them, like scripture and prayer, and then on with my meditation, and then inspirational music after. So those are the things that I do to help me that's part of my daily mental health um regimen, and people need that.
We honor and thank everyone in the fight for social justice. Teachers, healthcare workers, and all of you in high-risk jobs. We know it's stressful, so we have a gift of thanks from us to you. For more information, visit jabodibody.com. That is JABODIBODY.com. You're listening to ACW Podcast. I am Robin Gabriel-Parson, your host. Our co-host today is Dawn Wells with DWF Fitness.
So I hope that wasn't too much.
No, that was wonderful. You basically answered everything I was about to ask you. My next question in reference to applying your knowledge to helping you get through your mental challenge, and you hit it on the nail. You brought exactly what I was about to bring into the conversation, was the importance of nutrition, the importance of physical activity, the importance of mindful meditation, the importance of prayer. So yes, you hit it directly on the nail, and that is things that we need. It's so interesting, Dawn, because a lot of times when you talk about mental health, a lot of people like to kind of shy away from it because, they're like, you ain't calling me crazy, or this stigma, but what people don't understand is mental health has nothing to do with saying you are crazy or putting a label on it and stigmatizing you. It's a conversation that we need to have in our society because it's been put aside for so long. We take care of the external all the time. We take care of the internal through eating proper foods, but How do we take care of the mental? How do we, like you said, you brought it in reference to triggering these endorphins or these hormones in our body that we have naturally to make us feel good. And doing things like exercising will make you feel good. Doing things like yoga and just relaxing the mind and just allowing that mind chatter to relax will make you feel good. So thank you for that, Dawn, for adding to that. Now, I want you to share with our listeners about your business, your focus, your mission, and the things that you are doing. And you mentioned it earlier, what are you doing? But I want you to talk about how you are changing so many other people's lives based on what you're doing as well.
Thank you, Robin. So, for many years, as a matter of fact, up until last year, when I actually completed my eating disorder therapy, and again, I do still check in, once every 2 months or once a month, however I'm feeling, with my therapist, just to make sure things are okay. But I was officially released from the actual program because I applied the tools to my life. And so what happened behind that is I was able to then really focus on my own health and my own journey, right? Even though we're fitness professionals and nutritionists and things like that, we don't always focus on ourselves. And I had a desire to do better and be better, and I couldn't. I literally could not because of the binging and purging and that mental blockage. And when I did, I then took myself through a whole transformation, and in applying the knowledge that I acquired, in addition to more knowledge, and again, my mental health regimen, and put it together to use for myself. And then also started to do it the same for others. And that's what actually triggered, would actually cause me to do a whole rebrand and or re-imaging, if you will, of my business, which was, like I said, was Dawn Wells Fitness, which is now DWF Wellness. And I've come up with what I'm calling systems. They're programs, but they're actually systems. I put my practices into an 8-week program for people that suffer from emotional eating disorders. I partner with an actual licensed behavioral therapist in that program, and first get people to understand about eating disorders and what type of eating disorder or they may have, because so many people suffer from stress eating, and it's something that could be that they truly can help themselves from, right? But knowledge is power. And so I decided to rebrand and refocus. And so now my focus is actually, and I'm actually going to read this little piece from my website, and it states that we're dedicated to those who are determined to equip themselves with the necessary tools, education, and empowerment to permanently adopt total health for life. And that is it. It's about taking these, and the systems that I put together are for that. And then I also have a program that I put together for bariatric clientele that who come out of the bariatric surgery, and they don't know what to do next. They don't know how to exercise, and or how to, not necessarily how to put on muscle and that. And so then they too end up having issues with mental health issues. And so I've partnered with an occupational therapist and a behavioral therapist for that online 8-week program. And so to educate people. So the whole focus of my business now is to help people that really want to invest in this real life, full and all encompassing, healthy lifestyle forever. Because Robin, with knowledge is power. It's, and no disrespect to any nutritional program that's out there, or any of the big name box programs that are out there where, dieting this and dieting that, no disrespect to any of that. But if you don't truly understand what's going on, and it starts with that mental, like that, and your spiritual connection, it's not going to be sustainable. It has to be something that's triggered. And so that's what my business and now DWF Wellness's focus is on, is that people that are interested in permanent and just acquiring that knowledge. And that is what DWF Wellness is all about.
We honor and thank everyone in the fight for social justice. Teachers, healthcare workers, and all of you in high-risk jobs. We know it's stressful, so we have a gift of thanks from us to you. For more information, visit jabodibody.com. That is JABODIBODY.com. You're listening to ACW Podcast. I am Robin Gabriel-Parson, your host. Our co-host today is Dawn Wells with DWF Fitness.
Thank you. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. Dawn, I love what you are doing, and you're sharing your experience and your knowledge to help other people to heal, because that's really what it's about. It's really about having those tools and those resources that you can truly heal yourself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And I love it. And this is basically what we want to promote. And we want to give people information and resources, because a lot of times people don't know where to go or who to go to. So the resources, and you are a needed resource to help others. So I love your story. I love that you're taking charge of your health, and you are your own cause. I love that. And I tell people all the time, take charge of your health, be your own cause. Focus on the whole self, mind, body, and spirit in order to live a happy life. Because really what it's really all about is, while you're here on this earth, I want to be happy. And how do I be happy? Happy means I need to be healthy. I need to be well on all levels. And I'm going to do what it takes to make that happen. And I love what you are doing, Dawn. And also, Dawn, our call to action today is really to give people direction. Where do we go? So I want you to share with our audience all of your contact information so they can contact you, so you can be a beginning for them to, where do I go?
Absolutely. I'd be honored. So the website is, of course, www.dwf, like Frank, wellness.com. And you can contact me there. The phone number is 678-660-5101. And the email is the exact same as the website, DWF Wellness @gmail, and on all the social medias, again, DWF Wellness. You could find me there. But it's so important. And Robin, thank you so much for doing this. Your program is so important. It's needed. And one last thing I wanted to mention is, in our community specifically, you are absolutely right that we tend to run away from mental health, because we've been trained that, you deal with your stuff. It's a private issue, and it isn't. Being hurt, when you're suffering and you're hurting, there's nothing private about that. And we need to, as a community, get out here and help each other and get that mental health, get that help with the therapy that we need. And it doesn't mean that you're crazy at all. And if we are, then if you are, everyone is, because we've all suffered trauma of some sort. It's just knowing how to deal with it in a healthy way.
Thank you, Dawn. And that is so correct. That is so correct. And I'm gonna add to it just a little bit based on what you were saying. And I really believe it's a cultural thing, because I know a lot of communities of We don't talk about mental health. They tell you go pray, and prayer is a part of health healing, but there's more to it. And what I'm speaking directly is to our people of color. We have to stop. We have to stop ignoring. We have to stop denying. We have to look deeper into where the mental health challenges are coming from and provide the help family members need, friends need, faith communities need. Yes, we go to church. That's another healing, but it's more to it than just that. So I appreciate you, Dawn, so much. And we are going to end our conversation here today. Listeners, thank you for joining us today. Dawn, thank you again. I can't begin to thank you for sharing your story with us. And I hope one day, maybe on another conversation or another podcast, we can talk more about sexual abuse and how it is also affecting our communities.
I'm definitely open. Absolutely. That, and also angel eyes. Yes.
Yes. We have to talk more about your advocation behind the blind. And while I have you, you can just give us some information about your whole advocation over there.
Sure, really quickly. So, in addition to that, the nonprofit that I started and founder and director of is Angel Eyes Fitness and Nutrition, and we provide group fitness, personal training, and nutritional education that's tailored to the blind and visually impaired community. And it is just an absolute blessing to be able to be called to do that. And I've been doing that for about 6 years right now. So take a look at the site, angeleyesfitnessandnutrition.net.
Thank you again. So listeners, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to you joining us again next week on our Wellness Wednesday ACW podcast. Until then, live your life with intention, purpose, and love. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
ACW is sponsored by Jabati. Self-care through skincare. Jabati is for everybody.